Okay, welcome to Yeshiva Daf. We're learning today Chulin Daf Yud. We're starting from the two dots, about 10 lines from the top of the Amud. The exact, 11 dot. 11, starting in the 11th line. Says the Gemara, Itma, Hashoichet Besakin, V'nimtzes B'gum. Someone went and used a sakin, used a knife for shchita, and then he finds that the knife was pogum. It was not smooth, and it could make the animal tradeful. Even if he broke bones, meaning after the shchita, he went and he used the knife to break bones. Psula. So, to explain it, there is basically two ways that the knife can become pogum. It could be you have the skin on the animal, and you're shechting the animal, the skin, while he's doing the shechita on the skin, he already is making the sakin pogum. Then he does the shechita. Afterwards, he goes and he uses the knife to cut bones. I don't know where he made the sakin pogum. Was it in the skin before the shechita, or was it the bones after shechita? So it says, even though he did shechita, then for 7 hours he's breaking bones, and then suddenly he looks at it and says, that knife is pogum. I don't say that it happened because of the bones after the shechita, but I say it happened in the skin before the shechita, meaning the shechita was done wrongly. And this goes back to what we saw the previous daf, that you have a chazaka that's also. Why? Shema, the word Shema is on meduyuk, because it really should say Amor. I mean, we're toile, bad somebody to it became pogum in the bone, not in the skin. Says I understand. He goes l'shitosoi that he said what we saw in the previous daf. They have a chazak. My time. Why is he so sure? How can you come? You don't know if the shechita was done correctly or not. As you saw in the previous daf, you have a chazaka that an animal is also. So now he's taking the knife. He's trying to shecht. You assume it happened in the bone. Or sofik poigim, sofik loy poigim. The bone for sure makes the knife. The bone for sure ruins the knife. It's common when you're taking a knife of shchita and you're trying to break within a bone, it ruins the knife. The skin not necessarily breaks the knife, because we know regular shchita happens with the skin. But sometimes it gets stuck in the skin and it gets broken. So because I don't know if the sakin became broken in the skin or it got broken in the bone is more probable than the skin. So I say it's a sofik v'vadai. Etzem vadai poigim. Or sofik poigim, sofik loy poigim. Have a sofik v'vadai. Vein sofik moitzi midei vadai. So it's a sofik against a vadai. Sofik does not take away from the vadai. And you assume that it is, if I have to, I don't know where to put the suffix. I'm not sure where did this knife become broken. I assume in the thing which is a vade poigim, not suffix poigim. So that's a machlekes. Says the Gemara, may see Rav Avuno. So Rav brings a right to Avuno that I assume the worst. I don't go and say ain't talking about the vade. How it's the rayo regarding mikvah. Tavo ve'olo. Person went to the mikvah, did tefillah, got up out of the mikvah. As he goes out, he finds a chatzitza on his body. Even though he was busy with that min kolei kuloi, meaning after the mikvah, so he goes and he finds suddenly on his body some chatzitza, powder. He was dealing with this powder the entire day afterwards. Tefillah doesn't work. He says, I know for a fact that I was clean when I went into the mikveh. There's no chatzitza. So the Gemara, 1 second. Here is very, very similar to the shechita. Because in the shechita, what did we do? We took the shechita. I don't know if the knife got ruined in the skin or in the bone. So I say it's a vada in the bones. We know the bone, he was dealing with the bone that breaks it. And it's a suffix on the skin. So we say ain't something going through the vada. So here, I know he dealt with this material after he went to the mikvah. Before the mikvah, it's a suffix. So why don't you say ain't something went through the vada? The Gemara asks. The vada tova. He went to the mikvah. Suffix havi suffix lo havi. The Gemara says a little different than what I said. But I'm saying the tefillah was for sure there. Because the suffix went to the vada. Meaning, he went to the mikvah. I don't know now if it was before or not. You don't say in suffix went to the vada. You should go with the vada. You say suffix went to the vada. Okay, says the Gemara, Shani Osom the Klamima Hamitome al Chazkosu Veimoloy Toba. So I'm going to tell you why. Here you have a chazaka. The Tome, this person went to the mikvah. And you don't know if the mikvah worked for him or not. Chazaka means till now he was Tome. Assuming he continued to be Tome. So I understand. So say by the animal as well. By the animal, chazaka, that she's not shachut. We spoke about it yesterday's daf. The machlokes, Rashi and Tosfos. What is the chazaka by behemoth? Is it a chazaka of Erim Minachayim and she was asur, or chazaka of Einu Zavuach? Here's mashma a little more like the second one. Chazaka that's not shechted. I mean, I won't say you can't say chazaka is not shechted because she is shechted.
You know who's shechted.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, something happened here. So what does the word mean to say? Something came here to ruin the chazaka. Chazaka means, because what is the idea of chazaka? The idea of chazaka is that if I don't know better, I'm assuming nothing changed. Here I know something happened. I just don't know if that thing is good enough. So also here the guy went to the mikvah. I'm trying to compare the mikvah to the shechita. What's the difference? So the more I tell the baby Russo. Yeah, but going to the mikvah, I have a problem with the mikvah because you see afterwards he's dirty. Hachanami, I said, Biruso. You also hear after the shechita you have a Ruso because you find the knife is broken. So comes the Gemara and tells us here's the answer. So all that is like you'd think. I mean, everything you're saying, everything makes sense. It's exactly parallel. So it's all a build up to get to this the kudah we're saying right now. Sokin Isroi Behemo Lo Isroi. No. In the Behemo, I didn't find any issue. It's not that I looked at the Behemo and I saw that there's any problem over here in the Behemo. The only thing was a problem in the sakin, the knife, not to the Behemo. By the Adam that went to the mikvah, the Adam himself has a chatzitz on him. Here, the Behemo didn't find it by the knife. Right? So, now, so what's this idea? So who cares where I found the Rusa? Who cares? So the Tyson wants to say that it's really a reason to tell me, I'm really just pointing out more strongly the etzem vadai poikim. It's not really doing the knife. Just saying, when I have a knife and I know the knife cut the bone, and the bone is for sure rooting the knife, it's very strong for sure. But shaken by the person, he touched something before, he touched something after. I don't know when it came on, right? And so yeah, the vad over here. So what is the vad? That's going back to the little difference we said before in the Gemara. What was that? Just to point out, Tay says. Tay is saying here, what's the vada over there? Vada toval. What's the vada? He's for sure went to the mikvah. Here, the vada is that the etzim, that we now have a bone that ruins the knife. Here is vada toval. So he says, it's a less of a vada in that case. The way Tais ends it, that's the way it's saying. Tais ends it. Tais telling us that by the sakin have many sfekis, right? Maybe he got it ruined by the bone. Maybe he got it ruined by the skin. Maybe when he did, even if the knife became broken, maybe it didn't. When he shechted the begimo, the little hole didn't touch the simony, and was shechted okay. So it's like a sveka. That's what I want to say. Mashayik by the person is one side. Yeah, so in other words, the whole point we have to say is, according to Tosfos, when the more trying to mechalek between the knife and the person, It's not lav dafka. I mean, we just say is the knife is very convoluted suffix, and by Adam it's a bigger suffix. But the way other Rishonim, the Rashba learns, is by the tzadin in Hilchos Sfekis, and Hilchos Chazaka. When you have I want to be mamid al Chazaka, I want to come and ruin the Chazaka. Chazaka tells me something is here and never changed. Now I come and say, 1 second, I have your problem. The problem tells you that something did change, or something went and ruined something. So the problem has to be in the item that I'm dealing with. We mentioned a little bit about it yesterday's daf. We spoke about the roiv. What does roiv push the suffix? There's like a halachas and hilchos tzveika how you deal with it. So right now, what do you want to come and say? You want to say, okay, the behemo, she shechted. Chazak, the shechit is good. Oh, once again, I found the problem in the knife. Okay, so it's a problem in the side thing. I mean, not in the thing I'm dealing with. So in hilchos tzveika, that doesn't come and it ruins me so much. Here I'm dealing with the Adam. The Adam went to the mikveh. He's like, oh, yes, everything's good, it's good. No, there's a chatzitza on the Adam. So the Adam they're dealing with, they have a problem with. So the hilchos tzveika have a problem. What am I dealing with? Okay, so one may see. What was the question? Shochat esaveshet v'chaged nishbeto agageres. As mentioned in his daf, there's two simonim. There is the veshet and the kon, what we call konev veshet for human beings. By animals, we call it veshet and gargeres. Gargeres is the kon. So you shech the veshet, and then the gargeres moved. Now we talk about a bird. Big difference is like this. By an animal, in order for a shechit to be shechit ksher, you have to shech both simonim. By a bird, one simon is enough. One simon. That's it. We're going to see later. He shecht one of the simonim, called a veshet. Simonim basically is the two pipes that are going down in the neck of the animal. One is the pipe of food. The other is the pipe of air. Right? The human being has the same thing. Called a veshet. So by Be'im, we have to shecht. There's two simon. You have to cut the two. By a word, you can do one. So he did one, and then the other one moved from its place. Nishbata means he moved from his place, which we as we're going to see, it could, depends how we learn it, cause a problem of treifa. It's in the wrong place, the second seven. No, so by a bird, he did shchita, then he moved. No problem. The shchita was done. Shochet aveshet, v'achal k'nishbata gageres, ksheir. Because they already shechted. But if it was the opposite order, First of all, move the gargeres, made it problematic, and only afterwards it did shchito, or then it's what psula, pasha, right? Because before he did shchito, he already has a problem that it moved, and became treifel. Shochat es aveshet v'nimtza sagageres shmuto.
Like you got like disconnected.
Yeah, in this case, it's similar to Ikur that we saw regarding Shito.
Makes it a trick.
Yeah, when you move from its place, it's supposed to be in the neck, and it goes down from its place. Right? It's not in the right place. It's the animal's treif. Now here, he shech the veshet. After Shito, he finds the gageres, which means the kane, is out of its place. I don't know what happened. It happened before the shechting, after the shechting. What do you do? Something was there was a story this way. You don't know. What do you call sofek b'shchita? Nasui mai. Lavla asui ki I've gotten it. I'm coming to tell you the story about the sakin. Meaning, according to the Rashba, even Kotosis, we said sakin is different. Either because the suffix is not in the behemoth itself, or because, like they says, the sakin is many sfekis. But we're saying here, any suffix in shchita is possible. The case we're talking about, that he moved the gargeris, which is in the behemoth itself, in the animal itself, and the bird. Or we're talking about the sakin too. So you're saying sakin is different, and this bride is telling you otherwise. It says more loy. La suyi suffix shaw, suffix doras. We talk about all the sfekes we can have. Suffix shah means we learned that shihio means when a person does shchita, he makes a little bit of break. So then it ruins the shchita. Jerisa means he goes too fast. So it ruins it. If you have the suffix, you did it. It's again in the animal, not in the knife. Something what if you do base. The same answer. Here they had problems in the beam itself. I mean, I don't know if the shechita was done correctly in beim. Here they had problems in the knife. So like we said before, according to Taisv Shad, is the knife. There's so many sfekes. I don't know exactly what happened. I have no certainty that there's an issue over here. Masheika, according to the Rashbo, the suffix is not in dover hanidoin. So you're not dealing with the thing that I'm dealing with right now. So the Yechezkel say the Rav Huna b'shalosh yiber ba'etzem. So Rav Huna said that it's possible. So again, what was our suffix? Let's go back a second before we understand the next lines of the Gemara. Because we said the suffix that we started with is you take a knife and he cuts through the skin. It may be that the skin ruined the knife. Then, after cutting the skin, it checked the simonim. Then he went and broke a bone with it. So we don't know where the knife became ruined. Did the knife become ruined in the skin before the shechita or in the bone after the shechita? So Rav Huna said, I assume it's a problem. And Rav Chizda said, I assume it's not a problem. Now the Gemara goes on and says, meaning, I paskin like Kavuno that it's ruined if he didn't touch a bone, if he didn't break a bone. Meaning he only shechted, and after the shechit, he looks at a knife. He sees the knife got ruined. Obviously, got ruined with what? With the skin. So he got ruined before the shechita. And I look like that if you did the bone afterwards, so I assume the bone broke it and not the skin. So it says, what do you mean? But that's Mechukis is by the bone. We would have never said his words if you didn't touch a bone. You didn't have to get to that. Says the one was asking. You're saying we pass like a Huna if he didn't touch a bone. So even Rav Chizda disagrees with that. If he didn't touch a bone, I have nothing to be toilet. What's the idea? If he cut the skin, then the simonim, and then the bone, I'm assuming the bone broke the knife, not something else. But they didn't touch a bone. Of course, what broke the knife was the skin. That's what I was asking. What ruined it? What does it mean? The mafreket ivkin? So there is the mafreket. The mafreket is the back is the neck, the back. So look at Rashi. Be'etzem mafreket la'achar shchito shenoga be'etzem hatzova. After shchita, it touches the neck. V'hi mafreket ichtiv v'tishovi mafraktoi. For Savrina on Kavasei lemitli lekulo. Tahine gia the etzem mafreket lo pogmo lasakin tfei mior. Shvetasamois bo uvadetalin. Meaning, there is a bone that automatically every shchito, person takes the knife, cuts the skin, cuts the simonim, and then it reaches the bone of the neck. That's a normal way of shchita. As comes out, so the shape point out. Not every time you touch the bone of the neck bone, but it happens a lot. And that neck bone does not break the knife more than the skin. Just part of regular shchita. So after the shchita, he did touch a bone. Which bone? The neck. And then he looks at the knife. He sees it's broken. I don't say the neck broke it. I mean the bone. I say I'm not so sure. It could be it's the skin. If you broke other bones afterwards, which really breaks it, it's considered to be a vada, as Rav Chizda said before. You really basically, you have to imagine it. He shecht. They took the knife and he put it into like onto the a breaking item. He put it on this table or whatever. So I'm saying that thing is a vada. I'm assuming that's what broke it. But the neck bone doesn't break the skin, doesn't break the knife so easily, especially doing shchita. So therefore, I don't toilet that more. So if he's himself holds, no, I could say that what broke it is the neck bone and not the skin. With this we disagree with Rav Chizda. This we agree with Rav Huna. Rav Huna says, I always assume the skin did it, even if he broke bones afterwards. This we disagree with. Depends what he's breaking. Says the Gemara, there was a story with Torah of Yosef at Losor Chiyusa. There was a story that what happened that he came and he shechted 13 different animals. Then they found the knife to be pogum, and therefore he ruined it. Keman kavuna. So when we're trying to understand the story, so what do we say? Are you saying like Avuna that we assume that what broke it was the skin? Meaning even the first animal, that there was nothing else that could ruin it. The only thing that ruined it was the skin. You assume it's treif. So more like Rav Chizda lebar mekamaisa. No, we're going like Rav Chizda. We don't assume the skin broke it, but we assume that, meaning like we paskin, we assume that the bone, the neck bone, did it. And that broke it. When did it reach the neck bone? After which one? After the first one. So the first one was kosher. In other words, there was 30 animals that the knife got broken. Where did it get broken? So according to Huna, what do you mean? I assume the skin broke it.
The first one.
I feel the first one is a problem. According to Chizda, I mean, now like Chizda holds, Chizda himself holds that the way we pass it, we pass Chizda when you use regular bones. But if I touched at some of my frekes, I don't know. I'm not saying for sure. So I don't know if it was that or that. So I was going to say that the first animal is kosher. But from here on, it's going to be puzzle. Just want to make sure. Yeah. So then we don't. This is sorry. I apologize. Not to be like present. This is like Rav Chizda. According to Rav Chizda, I'm going to be toile and etza frekes. I'm going to toile in the neck bone. That's what we have over here. Which neck bone? Even Rav Chizda will say, I don't know. Could be the first one. So Rav Chizda will agree that 12 out of the animals are possible. I don't know which one it was. He did 13, but the first one should be okay. If you buy same loyal kavuno, could you pass the avuno? Tikav Chizda michte mitla talinan. My debate the frekes kamaisi yivgim. Til beetzen v'frekes the v'sraiso ifgim. Says, okay, you're saying according to Rav Chizda, I don't know, so maybe the first one will be, according to Rav Chizda, if I see one animal, and I say, I don't know if the skin broke it, or the neck bone broke it, says Rav Chizda, I'm toilets the neck bone. So it says, well, according to that svara, if it could be neck bone of the first, or the neck bone of the 13th, maybe it's the 13th. Won't you toilet till that? Says the Gemara, yeah, you toilet the kula. It's like a tliya. Tliya we find that many times in Shas. I don't know what something happens. So because I have a reason to say there could be, I could say this is what it is. I'm toiling that. The Gemara says, that's what you do. Only Rav Ravashki, Rav Kehanim Matzrich Dikuso Ben Kol Chada V'Chada. Rav Kahana required that if every time you do shchita, go check the knife. Don't just take a knife and go check many animals. Do one animal, check it. Second animal, check it. Kiman, meaning, why are you checking it? Because it could be, you're going to check, you're going to see, it's already pogum. And the first one is already ruined. That's like avuno. The first one already, I'm assuming it's ruined. No, it could be also like Rav. And the first one will be kosher because I'm going to be toilet that it does by the bone. But the next one I need to know. Says this question seems to be a little bit like standalone. Oh, once I'm already doing a bdiko, why are you saying you have to check yourself? Why don't I bring it to the chacham? Before I go on, just an important Rashi over here. So we're saying, if you look at Rashi, Rashi brings, so in other words, look at the middle of the Matri Loika of Chizdo. In the middle, it goes on and says, even that's what we answered, Tichuy Be'almo. So Tichuy Be'almo. Kol lo'ilo me'im aloch kav Chizdo, Svir le Avar Kana Vadai kav Huna Komar, Lemiv Sakamayso. God himself holds like Ravuna. Because we lay the Chizkav say, Fasher the filu be'im achas, so the Lifu Kasak in Achal Shchito, even one animal has to check. So in other words, according to this, we pass like Ravuna, that's what Rashi points out. Says the Gemara, maybe you should need a bdikas chacham because to check it, and if you always have to do a bdiko, right? Because you always have to. In other words, Rashi explains what's the point. According to Rav Huna, the bdika after is just to make sure nothing is wrong in the first animal. According to Rav Chizda, the check is for the next animal. Whenever you go do shchita, before you do shchita, you have to show chacham. So here, if you talk about the next animal, you have to show chacham. Says the Gemara, I don't have to show chacham. I believe we have a din. Always one person is name on Rabbi Yisrael. If so why the first animal have to show the chacham? It says more. We mentioned it briefly in the Shabbos daf. Why do we show a knife to the chacham? It's not because you really need to do it. It's cover the chacham. You want to give a cover to the chacham, to the row of the city. So before you start, you go show the chacham the knife, but you don't need it for the Yikrit. Very good. So the Gemara says that's the right. Now we continue on. Now comes the Gemara, l'chura, nothing to do with before. Rashi points out that now that we mentioned the idea of chazakis, so we go and mention it. How do we show want to say maybe nugia more to the sugya? This is a very, very sadistic. If you hear this, the end of this daf, beginning next daf, we're going to learn now the source of what? Of the Kol Torah Kula. This idea that we're saying right now it's chazaka. Says the Gemara, Mino Amil Sodomer Abonon Uki Milsa Chazaka. How do I know that I go based on chazaka? What is chazaka? Chazaka means I assume something didn't change. How do I know that? Where do we learn it from? Omar Bishmuel Bar Nechemia, Omar Yenuson, Omar Ko. Yotza Koyim Min Habayis El Pesach Habayis V'Yizgir Sabayis Shivas Yomim. So what happens? The Kohen goes into the house and he sees it's saras. He goes out and he says the house is saras. 1 second. We know there's a shear of tzaras. Kegris. Now the Kohen goes into the house, he measures the wall. So it says the Torah, don't see it inside the house, because you can become tummy. The Kohen will become tummy if he says it inside the house. So he goes outside the house. He walks outside. So on both sides, there's a tzaras in this house, and this house is tzaras. What? Yeah. So he goes out, tzaras. 1 second, maybe during the time that he's going out, it got ruined. It got diminished. I mean, maybe the tzaras became smaller. Hi, it's 2 minutes. How do you know? So you say chazaka, probably did change. Says the Gemara, maybe he walked backwards. That's what he did. He's walking backwards. He's seeing it the whole time. Yeah, you bring a raya from here of chazaka? It's no raya. Two answers. First of all, going backwards is not considered to be going out. You don't go out that way. That's what he says. What happens if it's not right in front of him? It's behind the door, meaning you can't see it. You're going in, you're turning around the door, you can't see it. Maybe the only way a kohen goes and looks at tzaras, he makes a hole, he breaks a hole into the wall. He has to see the tzaras the whole time. When you have a dark house, I don't make windows into it to check the nega. Meaning, if the kohen can't see, too bad. So that was the two questions about. That's not true. You don't go backwards. You do go backwards. The kohen gadol walks backwards. Traisa says you say that only b'derech yitziyah, because yitziyah is a derech eretz. So the kohen gadol leaves the kodesh kodashim. Even a kohen gadol going to have a tzaras, about to make the house tzaras, he walks backwards. When you leave a place, you go backwards. To go in, you don't go in backwards. But going backwards in front of a rabbi, you go backwards. V'dan, that's what it says by a kohen gadol. Hi, you said don't make a. What about behind the door? So you can make a window into it. That's only if there's no chazaka. Meaning, to come and determine that a house at saras, if it's dark and I can't see, I won't do it. But once you did see it, the only problem is now he needs to go out and announce it. Maybe you do make a hole over there, because here just to make sure there's no to say that it's saras. So I have no right. This is what Tanya Deloitte Rav Acha Bayakov, right? I'll bring a raya against Rav Acha Bayakov that says he went backwards. In other words, he's still seeing the tzaras. The kohen leaves the house at tzaras. Could be he can go home? Go home. He's gonna go home, and then in his house, he's gonna send an email to everybody saying the house at tzaras. He says the door.